Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Let me just begin to use this opportunity to welcome everybody to the live stream. We are live. We're excited. We are happy. Oh, my. Oh, my. Hi. Good evening, sir. I just want to say welcome. I want to know who is here, who is listening to us. We are live. We are ready. If you're here, let us know. Let's know who is here. We're just waiting to hear from our viewers. All right. Awesome. Awesome. I see you, Shalom. I want to say a very big welcome. We're super excited that you're here. Thank you for commenting. If you're watching us, please do let us know. If you're watching us, do let us know. We need to know that you're there. Hello, everybody. Hi. We need to start early. The earlier you comment, the faster we start, and the earlier we finish. All right. I see you, Samuel Akibar. Thank you for logging in. We're super excited to have you. We're super excited to have you. Don't worry, this is not an audio event. I'm going to be sharing my video very shortly. Just give a second for that. All right. Okay. Okay, it's a little dark where I am, trying to get an alternative light source, but I guess we'll manage it the way it is right now for now. Okay, so let's go. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? Who is here? Who is with us? Who is with us? Let's start. All right, so I want to say a very big welcome to those who have joined us today. I know that there are more people in the chat box or that are watching us on YouTube right now, and we are more than excited to have you. So I'm going to be sharing with you today a lot of things. We have a lot of things lined up. We already have our speakers. Who is excited? Who is excited? We have the speakers here already with me in the studio. I'm super duper excited. All right, but before we go, before we bring them up, we would like to hear from you. We'd like to hear from everybody that is right here, right? And that's why yeah, and that's why we just I just want to get a feel of who is here, who is listening, before we start. All right. Chinasa, if you're also watching, can you let me know? I just need to be sure that people have the right link. I think the wrong link was posted at first. So please, I'd like you to check out if you have the right link now. If you have the right link, let me see if I can also post that. All right, I'll just see if I can post the right link to everybody. All right. Okay. All right. I see more and more people coming up. I see more and more people coming up, and we're super excited. We're so happy to have you. All right. So I'm just going to start with a very short teaser. I'm going to start with a very short teaser today. And my teaser is going to be, we would like you to describe your dream job. So we are here for a session, a question and answer session, or a talk show session that says how to become a high salary super magnet, right? And there is a law of the universe. There's a universal law that says that, thoughts are things. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So how you think about yourself, how you think about certain situations is exactly who you are. So if you've not thought about your dream job, then how do you expect to achieve it if it is as you think that you are? So I want you to very vividly, just describe what your dream job will be. Well, or your next job, the next job that you want. What would it look like? So let's start with and I'm just on the right side of my slides. You'll see some ideas I've given you. What is the name of the company you'll be working with? You don't have to mention, right? You don't have to mention if you don't know, but what would it look like? What would be your own designation on that job? What will be the location? Where will you be working? Are you going to be working from home? Are you going to be working in maybe a high-rise building on the island? Is it going to be in Abuja? What does that dream job look like for you? What does your dream job look like? I would like you to answer that question. What would your furniture look like? Are you going to have a swivel chair? Are you going to have, I want you to be as specific as possible, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So as you think, as you're able to imagine, the depth of your imagination is how much you're able to get. So let's go very quickly. I would like you to type it in the chat box. What will your dream job look like? You can even talk about your dressing, how you're going to be dressing to work. For some ladies like me, you want to say something like, oh my God, it's going to be heels. I'm going to be wearing heels all through. It's going to be 6 inches. You can say that it's 6 inches, but I want you to, go through this exercise. I want you to go through this exercise. What would your dream job look like? Describe it in the comment section, and then we would really love to hear from you. Let's do that really quickly. If you don't describe, we won't move on. We won't move on. And while you're trying to describe, let me also tell you the reason why we're pushing you to do this. It's because we are a society of doers, right? Man generally, it's not even just about maybe being Africans or being Nigerians. It's human nature. And you find out that generally or naturally, most human beings like to do things, right? But man was not designed that way. Man was designed to be, there's something called, we call ourselves human beings, not human doings, right? So we are already, and usually you are just a summation of what you're thinking about over a period of time. If you keep thinking about something, you think about it passionately, you think about it all the time, that is what you become. So the fact that you're doing so many things, oh, I upgraded my CV, I did this one, I did that one, you won't become. You become by thinking, incubating a thought. We'll still talk a little bit about that later on, right? You become by incubating a thought, by thinking about it, bringing it to conception. That is how you be. So we're waiting for you. Describe your dream job. What would it look like? What will the salary look like? Are you going to be paid in naira or in dollars? I love that. So Shalom says is going to be a back-end senior developer at a Fortune 500 company. Yes, as you think in your heart, so you are. And I want you to take that thought, and I want you to keep thinking about it. I would like you to continue to think about it, incubate it, dream it all the time. You can add more things to it. Are you going to work from home? Are you going to be working, out of the country? Where is it going to be? The more you can define it, the more it's easier for you to spot when you are on the path to getting it. The more you can describe it, the more it is easy for you to spot when you're on the path to getting what you want. So let's go, let's do this. It's a mental exercise. I know we don't like mental exercises. Many people, we don't even like any form of exercise. I like to say I like exercises so that I can get myself to like it. Right. So yes, we're having a mental exercise here, and I would like you to just participate by typing what is your dream job? What will it look like? How soon are you going to be promoted on that job? See, every 3 months I'm going to be promoted. Or every 6 months, there'll just be something. There'll just be something every 6 months, every 3 months, there'll be something. All right. All right. So we're looking for more. We're looking for more, 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 and more. More, more, and more. Okay. So while you're doing that, I'm going to move on very soon. I see more people are joining. We're expecting way more people. We're expecting way more people, and I don't want many people to miss out. But also, we cannot delay our speakers, right? We can't delay our speakers, and I can't delay you because I place so much value on human beings, right? So Ife Olubi says hello. Hello, all right. Hi Ife, it's so good to have you here. We're so happy to have you here. Can you quickly participate in the teaser? We want you to describe your dream job vividly, and you can use any of the parameters, any or all of the parameters that have been described here. You can use them. You can use them to describe your dream job. We're having a mental exercise. Describe your dream job. Let's do that quickly, 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 quickly. Let's do that quickly, very quickly. Very quickly. Okay, so all right. So while we're waiting for others, hopefully people will catch up with describing their dream jobs. We're going to move ahead. So the title of the event for today is How to Become a High Salary Magnet. How do I become a high salary magnet? I'm not going to say so much about it because I think the title is self explanatory. How do you become that one person that you attract the best of opportunities? How do you become that person that is highly desirable to recruiters? How do you become that person that, you apply for a job? Sometimes you want to apply for a job and then the job description is almost scary. It's almost scary. You're wondering, am I even going to get called for this interview? How do you go from that person who is scared of even applying in the first place to applying without fear, applying with a real expectation that, you know what, I'm going to get this? All right, I'm still trying to figure out a way to get my power situation sorted. All right. But if I'm not able to get it, please just pardon me and manage this with me for now until we can get the light back on. All right. Okay, so we move ahead. We move ahead. I love this. So Ezigbo Joy says, hello everyone. My dream job is in the US and my salary is in dollars. I love it. My dream job is in the US and my salary is in dollars. I love the way you described it. Very simple and straight to the point. All right. So we're going to be moving very quickly into today's event. And I'd like you to meet our host. That is me. I'd like you to meet me. So very briefly, I'll just describe myself. My name is Biolu. Actual name is Bolutife Ademokoya, but most people call me Biolu. And I am a founder of a company called the 360 Guide Limited, where we are building a community of excellent professionals who are experiencing success in life, right? We want people to experience success in life. And that is why this community was birthed. That was why this company was birthed. We are waking up every single day thinking about how do we help people achieve success, especially for people who are career oriented, right? So those are some of the things that we are thinking about, right? And how do we do this? We do this by providing career solutions to Africans. We are very specific about the people we are reaching out to. We are looking at Africa, and there's a reason for that. So we're looking at Africans in entry to mid-level roles. We're looking at people in universities and high schools, and we're helping them to chart unique paths to finding true happiness, right? Our goal is to bridge the gap between education and employability. I'm sure you've heard that thing over and over again. Oh, so many people are not employable. So many graduates are not employable, right? Our job is to pick you from wherever you are and then help you to become employable, become that person that is employable. All right. So we want to bridge that gap between education and employability, thereby providing the African corporate workspace with a workforce comprising of effective leaders and creative problem solvers that understand their role in the that they understand that their role in the organization is pivotal to creating the Africa of our dreams, right? So you would agree with me that too often we have looked at Africa keeps looking outside for the solution to our problems. As Africans, we're always looking outside. We're always looking, we're always expecting the white man to come and help us. We are waiting for our knight in shining armor. We're just waiting for something to happen, right? But I realize that the solution to our problems is going to start from us. We are the solutions to our own problems. So if we're going to get the solution to the problem of the workforce of Africa, it's going to start from us. And it's not going to start from somebody that will start something. It's going to start from you and me. It's going to start from you making that decision that, you know what, I'm going to be excellent at what I do. And that is why the 360 guide is here. We're here to stay. We are not going nowhere, right? And yeah, while we're here to stay, I would just very quickly like to introduce our speakers. Before I introduce our speakers, I want to take some of the things that people have put in the chat box again, right? So we have somebody from Salji TV, and she says that she's going to be a BDM, that should be business development manager. It's going to be a hybrid role in a multinational company. She's going to be a power dresser. He or she is going to be a power dresser. I love it. I love power dressers. Very important. A power dresser, an invaluable employee. I love that. And then there's going to be yearly promotion. She's going to be so effective at what she does. Why do I feel that Salji TV is a lady? All right, Salji TV, let me know, are you a guy or a lady? So Salji TV says every year there's going to be a promotion for him or her. All right. Also, we have Ifeoluwa Olubiyi, my very good friend, who says that she's going to work with an international organization as a consultant or any other flexible job earning in dollars. Oh, a job that allows me travel the world. I love traveling. All right. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So very quickly, we're still taking more. If you still want to describe your dream job, please feel free to describe it in the comment section. So very quickly, we're going to be going into the question and answer session. And I want you to remember that the program we have live today is how to become a high salary magnet. A high salary magnet. And we have called speakers. See, we don't even have preset questions. So we are going to be asking the questions as they come. And the reason we are doing that right now is because we want the questions to come from the heart. We want you to ask the questions. So before we do that, I would want you to first begin to celebrate my speakers in the comment section. We want to see your comments. We want to see your comments, right? We want to see your comments. So, yeah. So please, let's see your comments in the comment section. And by celebrating them, put in all the beautiful emojis you have for my speakers as I take their profiles. Put all your emojis. If I don't see emojis, we're not going to start. No emojis, no starting. No emojis, no starting. All right. So please celebrate my speakers for me before I even begin to read out their amazing profiles. All right. So waiting for those emojis, waiting for them. Yes, thank you, Shalom. We see your comments. We see your comments. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh my, thank you. I see the comments. I see the comments. Thank you so much. All right. So very quickly, I'm going to call the first speaker. The first speaker is my very good friend. I need to say that. And let me tell you what she said. When we're doing the publicity for this event, and we had put up a short snippet of our career story, she reached out to me and said, "Ha, Bolu, this one that you're hyping me like this. Hope my helpers will not see this thing and run away from me," right? And that is to show you that no matter the level of success you attain in your career, no matter the level of success that you attain in your career, there is always room for more. There is always room for more. And that is why you should never, ever settle for less. Never settle for less. Never be okay with where you are, because there is always room for more. So join me once again as we welcome my good friend, Miss Simisola Smith, who is devoted to an extensive network of international partnerships, assisting and facilitating admission space for African students into global higher education environment, and promoting institutional engagement and support between, currently the Berlin School of Business and Innovation and partners such as universities, international professional bodies, charities, NGOs that fund education. Our vast knowledge is able to support the development of global academic exchange for furthering our organization's mission, right? Simi, as she's fondly called, is committed to the cause of securing international excellent platforms for African students, repositioning the culture of education excellence, resurgence of relevant skills that support industry effectiveness, right? She's a graduate of King's College London with a degree in biomedical science, a Master of Arts degree in education, health promotion and international development from University College London, UK. As part of our undergraduate degree at King's College London, Simi was elected Vice President Academic Affairs, where she engaged students, senior academics, external organizations, improving the overall reputation of King's College London locally, nationally, and internationally. She's very experienced within the dome of international education. She possesses a wealth of experience in the field, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And, just welcome with me. Simi is live. Simi, can you say hello? People can see you right now. Can you say hello to our audience?
Hi, Holo. I think you have to give me that, those things you read about me because you put them so beautifully. Thank you very much for having me. So I'm looking forward to an insightful session. So, hello, everybody. Nice to see everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Simi. It's so, so good to have you, right? And then I have a very big fish in the house. A very big fish. Can somebody roll out the drums for me? Right? So not only did I get you somebody that has gotten the kind of jobs that you want, right? I also went all the way to get somebody who is on the other end of the interview table, and not just someone that is on the other end of the interview table, a top recruiter in Nigeria, right? Before you mention 10, 20 recruiters, this particular name is going to come up, right? So I want to introduce to us this evening Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun is a top performing, accomplished, and skilled human resource executive and researcher with over 16 years of experience across high profile industries, including power, oil and gas, telecoms, broadcasting, real estate, advertising, academia, consulting, and volunteer work. Like he has worked across all the fields where you want to get jobs. He has been there. He has done that. He has interviewed people for high profile roles, right? So he offers professional expertise and a diverse range of skills within training and development, organizational strategy development, business partnerships, change management, employee relationship management, and administrative expert HR role. He has a YouTube channel that has over 2,500 followers, and he has, is it 20,000 or 40,000 followers I saw on LinkedIn, right? And I need to explain to you that this is not a millennial or a Gen Z, right? So you know what it means for somebody like him to gather thousands, tens of thousands of followers on LinkedIn. It's because he has got the value, right? And then he's a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. That's CIPM, right? And he has actually been um oh, sorry, I'm trying to remember what that role was at CIPM, but I'll get to that again. So he's a senior professional of human resources international, the SPHRI. He's got that already. He's a PhD candidate. He's got his MBA. He's got BSc. Current role head human resource, Eternal PLC. Previous roles, Global Accelerators. He's been in Russell Smith Integrated, Courier Plus, so many organizations. He's a member of Toastmasters International. He has attained the highest degree, the DTM. He's published papers, 42 papers. If there is anybody that can help you, prepare yourself for the kind of jobs that you want, it is our speaker today. And I want you to welcome him. I want you to welcome him very warmly into our midst. I'm adding him right now to the stream. Can you say hello to everybody, please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to our host and moderator, and my respect to the co-panelists. Good evening, everyone. My privilege and pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so, so much, sir. It is actually our own pleasure and privilege. We're so happy to have you in the house today. We're going to be moving very quickly into the question and answer session, right? And as we're going into the question and answer session, I would like everybody in the chat box, I would like you to please ensure that you are asking your questions. Think of all the questions that you can ask. I'm going to start off so that I'll give you a bit of inspiration on the kind of questions that you could ask. So I'm going to start up, but please ensure that you keep asking those questions. I'll keep taking the questions in the chat box, and then we'll run them on the screen so that our speakers can take them one after the other. All right. So we're going straight into the section. I'm super excited. I'm super happy to start this. All right. So I'm going to take down the slideshow. I'm going to take that down. All right. So that we can see everybody's faces really loud and clear. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start from you, Simi. Can you just share with us, let me start with the fact that you studied biomedical science, right? So you probably
Yes.
were thinking of a career in the sciences, in medicine, and all of that. So what happened? How did you find yourself in education, sales, BDM? How did you find yourself here, and why?
Um, that's a very interesting. I get that a lot because a lot of people don't know that I have a science background. So a lot of people don't know I'm a dropout of medical school. I say it now because thank God things have worked together for my good. So I remember when I told my mom that I was no longer going to study medicine. Typical African mom. She almost had a heart attack. Like, what do you mean? But again, she's very supportive. So she's not one of those parents that would force you to go outside your what you feel is your calling. So she's one of those parents who would hold your hand, trust that you know the process, but also understanding the child is also important. So I think she had known that I had been responsible in terms of my education and had been doing well in the sciences. So the fact that I said that I'm no longer doing medicine, um, I'm sure she had a good think that there would be a reason. So interestingly, another aspect is a lot of people do not actually got a scholarship to study medicine from Lagos State government. So I'd finished my biomedical science degree. I'd gotten into medical school. I had been in medical school for 1 year in Czech Republic. I was, I think, 16, 17 at the time. So although I was doing well in school, I struggled with the environment. Czech Republic is an interesting environment to live in, especially if you've always lived at home. So for me, I struggled with adjusting to the environment. So once that situation, pulled up, I was given the opportunity to then go to the UK. I couldn't go directly for medicine in the UK because it's quite competitive. So once that happened, I moved to the UK to do biomedical science, which was like a pre-med, to get into medical school. So what happened? Finished my biomedical science, applied for a scholarship, got it. But in my final year, I decided to do something that I would say was pre-orchestrated by God. At the end of the day, for those of us who aren't religious, I'm not saying that, whatever path you want to follow, but I am religious, very, very religious as a person. So I'm a Christian. So for me, that sort of set precedence to, the path that I currently am following. And I don't think that was a mistake because I ran for vice president of my student union. Um, and became the first international student and first black student to become a student union officer at King's, which has a history of they're 200 years old, I think now, quite old university. So with that, I was dealing with the international office a lot. So I was an intern with them. And before then, I was a student ambassador for King's. So I was doing a lot of international stuff. So let's say if they were to interact with Nigerian students who wanted to study at King's, I would be the one to, as the student head, um, and not only limited to Nigeria, but also all over the world. So I did a lot of work with the person who is like my position now in schools, so the international officer for King's at the time, to the point that I would go to Nigeria to do talks on behalf of King's. So I was her intern basically. That launched me into, oh, so there's a career here, interesting, and I was passionate about it, but I don't want to say maybe I had a bit of disadvantage, because the truth is a lot of people in my position who were Caucasian somehow eventually worked with the international offices somehow. But mine was different because I applied for an assistant job with the international office at King. So you would think that, oh, for sure she's gonna get it, and I got rejected. You understand? But and I think God, again, God had his plans, because the rejection felt so me of all people. Oh my God! After all I'd done or felt I'd done, but guess what? Um, I went back to the drawing board. Um, I was out of work because my the fact I was an international sorry, the fact I was a student union leader. I was being paid, good money for a student union leader. But guess what? 3 months I was out of a job because because I'm very ambitious. So I ran for president of the union. Didn't get it. I'm also sharing, that all that glitters isn't gold. So it's not like, oh, everything has always gone my way. So from vice president, I ran for president. I think I caused a lot of uproar, because it was a battle. And in first time in King's history, they cancelled an entire election just because of me. It was so intense. Because I was winning, it was clear. I entered the students' bathroom, people that I don't know from the volleyball team will just gather and say, "Hey, we know you, we're voting for you." Maybe have been drunk, but excited. I may have seen my face on posters. But the fact that I did so much for that presidential election, but still lost. I knew God was saying something. Do you understand? Because the vice president won, I was an underdog. No one knew who I was, and I won that. The president won. I had more support, had more financial support. I had family fly over. My mom came, she had a campaign t-shirt, Simi's mom going around campus campaigning. My big sister came. So for me to lose it, I knew God was saying something. So for 4 months, after my tenure, I was without a job. In fact, I was planning to move back for my NYC. And I was just throwing in applications, and an international student, the visa, the whole drama. And I already resolved in my heart that okay, I'll go back home for a while, then go to medical school. Suddenly, I applied to a university at the time, the University of Sunderland in London. And what happened? They were looking for someone with 5 years worth of experience. And the most important thing is you might think that, oh, you have to go far and beyond. Do you understand? You can't just, when you see an advert, you might think, oh, I don't match this opportunity. But you can never tell where the organization is at. I applied, they said 5 years of experience. I hardly had any experience in the international recruitment sector. And I put in the application, said if you don't hear from us in 2 weeks, consider your application cancelled. What did I do? On the 15th day, I called in the HR company. So it was the human resource person that was advertising for the job. And guess what? She was not on seat. I think that was deliberate of God. I think because if I had communicated with the HR, with no disrespect with Mr. Adeosho, I'm not saying that HR people are not very important in recruitment, but I mean for my own, she may have gotten a list of very, very capable candidates and she'll just look at me like a small fry, to be honest. So I heard she had gone on holiday. I was like, this woman is using my destiny to play. What do you mean holiday? What do you mean? But thankfully they had advertised the company. So I went ahead. So I started to look for people in the company on LinkedIn, looked for a number, just found it, I don't even know how. Again, God was orchestrating, moving along that. And I called the company one day. I remember that day because I was cooking one delicious ayamashi stew, I was just chilling, thinking, dear Lord, help me. Um, and and I heard, and the receptionist said, "Oh, we know. I'll connect you to the person who eventually became my boss." And he had me on the call. He said, "Oh, forward your CV directly to me." I forwarded to him. Within 5 minutes, he called me. He was like, "Are you around the environment? How soon can you come to the company? I would like to see you this evening." I was like, okay, I was calm. I was like, I didn't want to seem desperate, but I was. Um, so I made my way straight away to him, and he looked at me and he said, and by the way, it's not like there was anything that he identified with. So some people say, was he Nigeria? Maybe he connected with you on that level. It was Asian, it was Indian, so we're not even like, like in terms of culture on the same level. And he just said, there's just something about you that I like. In my mind, that's God, it's God, it's God you're saying, And he said, okay, it was a Friday. He said, okay, I'll have you meet my overall boss, the overall boss, on Monday, and he will let me know. Before I got into the train, he called me again. He's like, the boss is available on Monday. They would like to see you. And boom, I was in the office on Monday. They had their own HR, like their own company HR, and they said they offer me a job. The only caveat that they had, and you have to be open to, starting low, not low in the sense, don't shoot yourself. So if you're actually very experienced, right, don't shoot yourself down. But to me, I needed the experience as well. So they were honest with me. They said you're going to put me like on an intern salary, but I'll be doing the role of a proper officer. So it was a win-win. It was me gaining experience as an international officer, but my salary wasn't the best. And I'll be honest, and that's how it was. I was earning lower than I was earning as a student union leader. But guess what? I did what I needed to do. I put my heart and my soul into it for many, many years with them. And that sort of opened, many doors. In fact, the job that I'm in now was was sent to the same man who gave me the opportunity many, many years ago. So he sent me the opportunity, even though I'd left the organization, for at least a year or two. And he had other people he could have sent it to, and said he just saw it and said, Simi, I think you should put in the application. So this is how relationships, this is how the pathway was carved. I had to change. I wanted, not had to change my scholarship from Lagos State Government for Medicine to actually do a master's in education and then a PhD, um, potentially with the Lagos State sort of scholarship. So that's how I moved away from medicine, and now focusing on the career in international student recruitment sector. So that's a summary of it. Oh, I hope it was summary of it.
All right. Thank you so much, Simi. From what you said, there are certain things I'm going to pick out, and I hope that Mr. Oluyemi will also either corroborate or debunk some of the things that I want to pick out. Some things resonated with me that I want to share. And like we said today, I'm saying this to everybody in the audience, we are being real with you today. We're not, nobody's hiding anything, nobody's sugarcoating anything. We're telling you as it is. Now, did you notice all the back end work that went into Simi's application? She didn't just put in an application on the front end and then she sat down and said, you know what, I'll just wait for the company to call me back. Now, is it a bad thing if you sit down and wait? There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I also noticed that some of the best roles I've gotten, I got them after I did something a little extra. I'll give an example. I worked very briefly for about 6 months with an international organization based in the US, right? And then they just put out this application or this job advert. I saw it on LinkedIn, and then I put in an application for that role. I didn't hear back from the company for the first month, second month. So this was after putting in an excellent application, right? And putting an application that made me feel like, most likely they are calling anybody back. I'll be one of the people they'll call back. But I didn't hear anything back from the company. So I found the email of the recruiter, right? The person handling the recruiting process. And I sent an email to the person to say, oh, I applied for this job and I've not heard back. I just wanted to find out if this role has been filled. I just wanted to be sure so I know if I should move on or just to know, right? Or if you could also tell me some of the things I could have done better to position for a similar role in the future. And then the HR person responds to me to say that, oh, we actually are overwhelmed by the number of good candidates that we got, right? So we got so many good candidates and it was kind of overwhelming. We just kind of, we have too many good candidates to interview, right? Meaning that what they would have stopped, even though my application was good, they would have stopped after getting the candidates they wanted. And you know what? Immediately, she added me to the pool of people she checked my application. She went back to the back end. She checked my application and then added me to the list of people that were going to be interviewed for the role. And well, long and short, I got the role, obviously. So I'm saying that sometimes you need to do a little extra. And I was listening to Simi. Of course, I didn't even know all of this about her story, right? But look at how, she knew that, she sent an email to this person was not around. You don't just, if you're looking for the extra, the high salary super magnet does not apply for jobs and go to bed. You begin to do something, you position yourself and you do a little extra. All right, so let's actually hear from Mr. Oluyemi. We're going to hear from him very shortly. He's interviewed a wide range of people, right? So my first question to you, Mr. Oluyemi, is for those big roles, because people are here, they want to know the truth about the big roles, right? Those big roles you've recruited for, what were the major things you looked out for in a candidate? What makes a candidate desirable to you? Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Very interesting insights shared by my friend and colleague Simisola, and also by our host Biolu. Thank you so much. I learned quite a number of things from that inspiring real life situation and feedback. Now, with respect to high profile roles, let me say that there is a lot of factors we are looking for, and they are complementary. And to put it mildly, it's like a buffet. Okay, so maybe there are 20 factors. You may not necessarily have all the 20 at any given point in time, but you want to be sure that you have maybe 15. In other words, like 70 to 75% of this. And when we talk about competencies, don't also forget that competencies or skills are also in degrees. Let me give you an example. Take leadership. So leadership can be basic. I'm just using these parameters to, explain what I mean. It can be basic, for example. It can be at intermediate level. It can be at proficient level, and it can be at advanced level. So if it is a C-level role, chief role, top, senior management team role, you may be looking at leadership at either expert level or, in some instances, proficiency level. You won't need leadership at beginner level for a senior management role. I hope we are together. Now, again, we can also classify competencies and skills into two broad categories. Category A or category 1 will be the technical skills. Category B or category 2 will be the soft skills. Now, I know there are different people listening to this session and who will listen to this session. So we may not be able to exhaust. So if it's a pilot, you need to have gone to a flying school. I hope you are with me. If it's for the military, you need to have gone to a defense academy. Okay, so if it is for accounting, for example, you need to have done certification in the country you want to practice, or that is recognized and acceptable in the country or countries you want to practice. Again, I know we say that we look to hire for attitude and train, but please don't mistake this. When you go to the hospital, you don't look for a cleaner with a good attitude. You look for a doctor with a good attitude. So you must have the minimum competencies technically required. Now, to the other one, because having said this, more often than not, at the very competitive level, even though there are a few people operating there, it's still also competitive. In other words, maybe there are just 25 good people to check out. Some things must not differentiate these 25 people. These 25 people will have all met the minimum technical requirements. You may now be looking at soft skills, for example, things like leadership, things like communication. You may be looking out for things like resilience, things around conflict management, things like crisis management. Because when push comes to shove, these things may be the deciding factor. You'll be looking at agility. Okay, so we want somebody who is very intelligent, but we want someone who also have cognitive flexibility. Some people are so intelligent, when the reality changes or new information emerges, they are not quick to pick that something has changed and we need to leverage on this new insight or new data. We also want people who are, empathetic, but not emotive. I know what I'm saying may look like a paradox of some sort. You must be empathetic, but not emotive. So the workplace is not a mushy environment, but you should show empathy, but you must also be able to take decisions based on data, based on insight, based on logic. So it depends on what roles you are looking at what level, at what seniority level you are looking at. So very important to my listeners out there for today. Look at the role you are aiming for. Look at the job description critically. What are the key skills there that you have, both technical and soft? Make sure that your curriculum vitae reflects it. Make sure that when you are in that interview session, you also reflect it, even from the first typical question, tell us about yourself. Don't take that question as a question where you begin to say, I hail from the autonomous community of Omuara East. You must make sure that every question you are responding to, every interaction you are responding to, even if it is a casual phone call, okay, that you are putting through, you are communicating value. You are communicating that you appreciate profitability, market share. Even if it is for a non-profit, there must be a top line and a bottom line. So what is the big picture? What is the purpose? What is the vision? What is the vision? You must show that you understand quality. You also have a customer or a client orientation. Lastly, you must also show that you have a whatever it takes attitude. For example, from my co-panelist who spoke just before me, I can already deduce this, that she has a never say never, and that may be a game changer. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator.
All right, thank you so much for that. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention something about Mr. Oluyemi. So Mr. Oluyemi came in highly recommended. I reached out to HR people, and he came in highly recommended as a speaker. I didn't know him before he was recommended. So in my usual attitude, I went snooping. I went on YouTube and I watched some of his sessions. And I must tell you, please go and find Mr. Oluyemi's. His name is Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun. Go and find his YouTube channel. There are materials there that would change your life. Like I was listening, I'm not even looking for a job, but I was listening to those things and I was inspired. So please go find his YouTube channel, follow, and just taking as much as you can. Taking as much as you can. All right, so we'll move ahead very quickly. I must also say that thank you for the insights you just shared, right? Now we're talking about high profile roles. Everybody wants something high. And one of the major things is mentioned is that you must even have the technical skills, right? Out of what is being advertised, you must have positioned yourself to have at least maybe 75% of what is being asked for. All right. So we're going to move back to Simi very briefly. And Simi, your career story is very interesting. You mentioned that you were earning more as a student, and then you stepped down into the role of an intern. As in, I know that African love titles. African love titles. Some people will reject a job because of the title, like me, officer, when I was manager before. Now you're now telling me to come and do intern, right? So I want to ask, I want to really ask you of what at what point, because even when you were saying that, you did mention something that for certain in certain situations, it's not in every situation that you will take that kind of a step down, right? So I want to ask you, in what situation is it okay to step down, to stoop to conquer, like it said? In what situation is it okay to stoop to conquer, and in what situation should I stand my ground and reject the offer and say that I'm not going to do this? All right.
That's a good question. I think throughout my career, I've had multiple reasons to step down. So I think if you just zone in on this is what I want without being realistic, there's a sense of being realistic. So at the time, it's not like the offers were coming. Like so, and I knew in my heart that I needed the experience. Do you understand? And thankfully, I had the support to proceed in terms of okay, the salary wasn't up to the skill, so I'll be in the market. I'll enter into the market, and I would have people who were doing exactly the same thing as me, but they were top, like they were not on the same level or standard. But it was an opportunity for me to learn a lot, an opportunity to network, an opportunity to meet. And wasn't as if I was the one paying for my trips or anything. So for me, there were added bonuses to it. So I took it extremely seriously, extremely seriously. I remember the time I'll be the first person to clock in and the first person to clock out. And even when things sort of went sideways, so with that organization, they merged back into the a main organization, and you might think that you're making mistakes. So sometimes you have to make some decisions. So I didn't know they were wanting to merge, right? So I'm going to explain this to you. Before the merge, they had seen my strength, so they had known me. 'Cause I was based, like I said, in their London office, and they had a bigger office, and they tried to poach me out of the London office to join the main office. Now, again, I'm not saying that it will work for everyone. To be honest, sometimes I think back and think, well, maybe I should have listened and joined them at the time. But all things have worked together for good. So at the time, like I said, I was trying, they were trying to poach me. Guess my reason, and I knew they may have been able to offer me more. But guess the reason why I didn't pick that. I said I needed to be loyal. I said, look, these are, and I explained to them, to the other people, with all due respect, that they couldn't have taken me from my boss, because at the end of the day, if my boss didn't give me the opportunity, they wouldn't have seen me at all. Do you understand? They wouldn't have seen my potential. They wouldn't have seen my strength. And guess what? If I had listened, things may have still gone sideways for them, and I would have been let go. Do you understand? And the same man that I was disloyal to wouldn't be the one to give me this opportunity now. So he had studied me as a person. He had studied that I was loyal to him. And even if I knew that I could get a better paid job, and what I said to him, I said, if I were to leave, I'd prefer to leave to a completely new organization, not to within the ecosystem that are basically their competitors. Do you understand? So with that's one instance. So if you think you're loyal and you know in your heart that this person gave you a very, very strong opportunity that you wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, yes, it's okay to be within a certain bracket, because it would work out eventually. With my one, it did, and I know a lot of people that worked out before. Secondly, another time that it's okay for you to step lower is, there was a time, I think, Bole is aware of this. There were no other opportunities as well. So I'd recently been let go of a job. They were downsizing um, within the organization. There was nothing I could do really. Do you understand? And there was an opportunity that came up. You understand? And I was happy to start from whatever that opportunity would have guaranteed me. And within a very short period of time, although not planned, a very short period of time, another opportunity came. You understand? So if an opportunity comes and you don't have another one, rather than going high off of me of what people have, how did they? No, no, no. There's no need for that. You take the opportunity, you put in your heart and your soul, and if something else comes up along the line, then it's understandable. Do you understand? And another one is not as if the opportunity that came to me at the time when I was the company I was working for was downsizing, I was let go, then eventually got in this opportunity. Also didn't start off, the way I thought. So for instance, I'd already been looking after an entire region for many, many years. When I say an entire region, Africa as a region. Guess what? The opportunity that came to me, they didn't tell me in full detail, and I joined the organization. And guess what? I started off with two countries out of an entire region, thinking that I was going to still, be dealing with an entire region. But guess what I told myself? It also wasn't, within the salary range that I had thought, especially when I realized the salary that they would normally offer someone within my role. But it was definitely better than the previous one. So everything was, looking still positive, but still not as high. And they told me that I was going to be doing lower than my capacity. And guess what? I told myself, okay, if I was going to be doing lower than my capacity, it means that it's an opportunity to shine and show that I can do more. So rather than seeing it as a negative, I said, okay, it's an opportunity to chill, breathe, and focus on the two strongest markets, which I did. Right within a very, very short time, say within the space of a year, I then inherited colleagues. When I say inherited colleagues that started off on the same level as me. So I have two other colleagues in other countries that I then became their line manager within a very short time. So again, I was still operating within that salary bracket as a newbie in the company. But as the months passed, the years passed, the other colleagues had other opportunities that came up for them. Then I was still the only one managing everything and still operating lower than the salary bracket of someone of my capacity. Then, and this happened during COVID, interestingly, when there were no like opportunities. But I put my heart and soul. It was a very, very stressful time. So it's not like you just sit pretty or everything is glamorous. You go on a Zoom call, put makeup on. No, it was intense. Especially that time, the internet was terrible. So I was working excessive hours. Working in the middle of the night, just to get the correct amount of internet that I needed to do what I needed to pursue. And another opportunity came whilst still within this organization. Um, and I had said, I wanted to resign. And I wasn't even trying to use it as a bargaining tool. To be honest, I was ready to leave because I felt I was done. But little did I know. So you have to remain competitive. You have to remain competitive, even if you feel very comfortable within an organization. Nobody's indispensable. Do you understand? You still have to know that you're within the market. And I was applying because I was feeling, I think I've done enough for these people. I'm not really moving. The people I was leading have left the organization. My team has not expanded. I just felt just there because you need to evaluate yourself because the, the risk is the higher you go, the more comfortable you become, and that then means that, okay, so what's the point? What are you bringing to the company? But if you're not aggressive, if you are not in the organization and you're proving yourself that other people also want you, right, at least for a couple of moments, then it sort of feels, you're either not even competitive in the organization. So I got that. I got another opportunity, and that was my bargaining too. So I told them I was going to resign. They refused. Oh, that's when I realized that, oh, so I'm important. I did not feel I was anymore. Not in a negative way. I just felt, things are a drag now on a daily basis. Do you understand? I didn't feel like I was utilizing myself. But the moment I said, oh, thank you for your time, I would be leaving the show, everybody woke up. Everybody woke up from, my line manager to the vice president of the group. Never spoken to him in my entire life. His assistant sent me a message. Oh, so wants to have a word with you. And then before I knew it, people within the ecosystem, because they are also an ecosystem, were competing to get me out of my boss's hands. So they wanted to, the fact that I had resigned, or the word spread, they're like, Simi is available. Do you understand? Now back to loyalty, back to when is it okay to take a lower paid? Now, even though I got a new opportunity, that opportunity gave me the opportunity to negotiate something higher. Guess what? Other companies within the ecosystem were willing to offer me higher than what my boss was going to offer me to counter offer those other people, right? But why did I choose to remain with my boss? Even though one particular member of the ecosystem was willing to offer me almost double of what my boss was willing to give me, almost times three, even, right? But stability, peace, peace of mind. I already knew how this person worked, his philosophy of working. So it's important to know that even if you want more money, the culture of where you are needs to align with your culture. Do you understand? Because the truth is, if I had taken the other people's opportunity, now maybe I'm not even discussing with you, Bolu. I'll be so depressed somewhere thinking, yeah, I'm just a lie. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth because they were willing to offer me just to take me off my boss. I said, look, I had spent time, I'd seen them churning out, so they had a high level of staff turnover. That is a red flag. You understand? So they could throw money in your face, but the high level of staff turnover. And I also had intel, so a colleague who had left one of the competitor companies that they were offering me his role. I was just interested because I found it so amusing that he actually left the job. So by the time I spoke to him, guess what? He left the company, took another role that was offering him slightly lower. And I asked him, why did you do that? He said he did it for his peace. So he was willing to take something, step down, just for his peace. And I said, that's the one that me, I want to put my head inside. No, thank you. So when my boss spoke to me, he told me, he said, look, he can't offer me what these other people will offer me. He knew for a fact because we didn't have as much money as they had, right, in terms of revenue generation, because we're a smaller company, but it can offer me stability, it can offer me growth. Do you understand? It can offer, because he said, he didn't even mince word, and he wasn't threatening me, it was the truth, because I knew, right? He said, if you go to so place, he said, look, you wouldn't last. With me, you can your potential. I can, allow you be you. I want your potential to come out. He convinced me. For me, as he was the leader that I wanted, regardless of even if those other companies were willing to give me double. I mean, it was very tempting, and I could have told myself that, I'm good at what I do. Let me enter and change the world for them. No, 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 no. No, I wanted that stability and to be in an environment where I could possibly grow to that level at some point. For me, the timing was to remain with him and grow with him. So it's lower than what, right? So I'm even still lower than maybe what I could have potentially been earning, but I am stable, at least to a certain extent. So that's another example.
All right. Thank you so much. And such a lot to get from what you've said. I don't want to keep repeating, but I hope that people got as much as I did while you were speaking. So, one of my key takeaways is the fact that you need to remain competitive, even though you are already comfortable within an organization. And also, you consider the work culture, and then you consider the alignment. Does it align with your own personal values, your own expectations from a place of work? Now that is going to lead me to the next question I'm going to ask Mr. Oluyemi. Now, I'm building a community of people. I have a community of, I think we have about 300 members right now. And I can tell you that one thing that I see with most people is restlessness. There is a lot of restlessness because, all of a sudden the workspace changed, right? Now the expectations are really high. I'm handling recruitment at times, and then you have candidates that say things like, you know what, I can't come for a physical, I can't come for an in-person interview. You have candidates that say that, oh, I can't start, on a low salary, when I have colleagues. So you have people that finished school together, especially the tech guys, and then one person is already starting out with a salary of maybe 500,000 naira or close to 1 million naira per month, right? And then you have a company that is offering, come and start with 80,000, come and start with that. There is a lot of restlessness. People believe that I can just do one training, let me just do an online course. Once I do this online course, I'm good to go, right? Now, how realistic are these scenarios? This quick, just position and get a quick, just position, do a personal branding course, get your CV done, get your LinkedIn done, brand yourself, go on LinkedIn, make posts, right? And then you land an international offer. How realistic are these things? And I want you to answer as truthfully as you can. How realistic are they?
Thank you so much, Biolu, for that question. Again, I need to say this sincerely from my heart. So there are exceptions and there are rules. I will say this again. There are exceptions and there are rules. And analogy, I hope we can all relate to it. Now, when you look at footballers and a name like Messi, Ronaldo, let me use a Nigerian player, Victor Osimhen comes to your mind, and you hear how much they are paid per day or per week. Honestly, if you are a footballer that is a star, that is earning mega dollars or mega euros or mega pounds, there are many footballers in Lagos, in Ekiti, that nobody knows, that are playing in lower divisions that they are in that football doesn't pay? Absolutely. Now,
Uh-oh. So I'm not sure. Can anybody hear me? Simi, can you hear me?
I can
All
hear
right.
you. Can you
Awesome.
hear
You're
me?
back now.
Okay.
Yes,
So
loud
there
and
will
clear.
always be that colleague, that professional, that friend, that neighbor that will do one course or some courses and get that high job. But it may not be something that is sustainable for the majority of the people. I know you are listening to me. I know you are lucky. However, can you always bank on that? Now, the truth is, at every moment in time, there are what we call in demand courses or in demand skills. For example, about now, courses like or trainings or skills like coding is in super hot demand, at least in the last 4 years. So if, for example, anybody is good around things like artificial intelligence, it is what? Raining. However, the bubble will always burst. If you are following the news or the social media, you will realize that the organization or industry that has had about the highest level of layoffs, in other words, sacking staff, has been what? Tech. From the Twitters of this world to the Amazons of this world, that doesn't mean it is still not sustainable. So you see, there is what we call demand and supply. Fortunately, I read economics. When there is a so high demand for certain skills, it will be easy for the players who have those skills to come outrageous, in quotes, salaries and wages and get it. But there will be a time the bubble will burst, there will be layoffs, or there will be readjustment, recalibration of the income level. Now, some people may be transiting from one in-demand skill to the other. In other words, they are staying ahead of the curve, ahead of the frontier. But some things will always be there. So let me take a few professions. Like the profession my co-speaker decided to walk away from respectfully. Medicine or doctor, emphasis on poor. It may not also be very common to see a doctor that is a multi-millionaire, but a doctor will typically almost always have a decent living. Do you understand what I just said now? They may never be poor, they may never be super rich, but at least when you call something, in any country they are living, they will have at least decent living. So, as a professional, except you are exceptional, and sometimes, and I'll say this with sincerity, sometimes you need an element of luck, grit, and certain factors that you don't have control over to be in that maybe top 1%. You can make the top 5%, but to be in that top 1%, you may need an opportunity, you may need an opening, you may need the hard work and diligence that places that into your hands. But what will I say as I wrap up this conversation? If you think there is a course or a program you can do to enhance your employability or your remuneration, please, my encouragement for you, go for it. Get the training, and shoot your shot, like we say on the street. But let me put this caveat: it may not always work. And if it doesn't work, don't now retreat and enter into your shell. In other words, another opportunity may come out. Don't use the last experience that didn't work, that, oh, that's how I did Java training. I didn't get anything out of it. Now you're telling me that I should come and do UI UX. No. Sometimes you may try 8, 9 things. All the experiences in those things that didn't work will now come true because they are forging you there's what we call resilience, which is actually also a skill. They will now set you apart, stand you out in that new window, and people like, where did you get these capabilities from? Where did you get these competencies from? Then people around you say you have now experienced a breakthrough. Don't be frivolous. Do self-assessment. There are several personality tests, professional tests online that you can do so that you know your area of interest. And when we call something passion, passion does not necessarily mean you are excited about the thing. Let me say this, and let me say it right now. Passion does not necessarily mean you are excited about something. In fact, in the real sense, passion means you have the capability to suffer. So I'll use this word because I'm looking at Semisola Smith's face right now, and she will understand what I mean. Passion means long suffering. It means you can go to extreme lengths and bear pain to deliver outcomes. So please don't think, oh, I'm passionate about football. Ask the professional footballers. It is not as interesting like the people playing sets at Yanoworo. Why? The professional footballer is not playing how he likes. He's playing how the coach instructed him to play. It's not the same thing. Playing to instruction is different from playing as I like. And when you are playing to instruction, that is no longer fun. That is like a coding. I'll stop at that. Thank you.
I warned you about Mr. Oluyemi. I told you will not see him coming. He will just come. Because I've been typing right now. Passion means long suffering. Doesn't necessarily mean, people just think that, desire is passion. Oh, I desire this thing, then they think that's passion. No, passion is you stay there until you get results. You stay there. Oh my, I'm going to hold this one. I'm taking this away. Passion means you stay there until you get the desired result. Passion means you put aside your own way of doing things. You listen to somebody until you get results. Passion means you dig every possible way of digging until you get those results that you want to get. Wow. I'm blown away. We have a quick question in the comments or in the chat for you, Mr. Oluyemi. And this person says, will it bother you if an interviewee tells you that they left their previous job because it didn't align with the processes or culture of the company? Will that bother you?
Okay. So that question is not a yes or no question. It's a context question. So any professional interviewee or recruiter is going to ask you a follow-up question. And this is not to judge you or to be prejudiced against your response. So we may be interested without the details to know the kind of process you didn't align with. So let me give you an example. So I'm making this up. So if you work, for example, in the banking industry, and you tell me that you are not okay with the anti-money laundering law by the central bank. Meanwhile, we are an oil and gas firm, and there are also regulations by Department of Petroleum Resources or NNPC, or we are a pharmaceutical and we get certain rules and guidelines from NAFDAC that we don't have discretion over, we should be careful. But if, for example, the culture you are talking about is that they cut corners, they so much like results, they don't mind how you get the results. And your value is in integrity. I'm okay with that. So it's you need to think through the scenario and the situation and the example, because you also want to be careful not to malign an organization in your interview process, because there may be no way to cross-examine the organization or the maybe you are laid back. And when I say organized problem, they are very inside. She said, boy, see, say, oh, next, and you also say something, and I played out there. It doesn't play out here. So you must make sure you tight. It's just like that question. Tell us about your weakness. You must never mention the weakness that is material to the success of this job. And if whatever weakness you identify or highlight, you must also show that you are overcoming it or almost overcoming it. Please be strategic. Wake up. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Yes, for a little while, the network was a bit dodgy, but thankfully we were able to make out some of the things that you were saying. Thank you so much for that. And that was such a power answer to the question. So it's not a yes or no. I'm saying this in summary because of the network, not a yes or no. It depends. It depends on what that culture is, and how it affects the next place, the work you are interviewing for. That's what that is all about, right? So I'm going to go to Simi. We have just a few minutes left, and I really feel like we still have so many questions to ask. But anyways, I do trust that I can always have my people back. I hope that when I come calling again, you will be happy to come on board again. All right. So this is this is me using cheat mode to ask again, if you will be willing to come up. All right, but before then, let me just go very quickly to Simi. So there is the place of I am valuable, right? I'm a very valuable employee. I want to I let me come to your organization and pay me something big, right? There is also the counter question by many organizations. If you are that valuable, why have you not done something for yourself? So I want to ask you, because I know, and by the way, Simi runs an auto shop, heads over wheels. And when I say an auto shop, I'm not talking about like she's a complete mechanic. She does car makeovers, she changes the car bodies, and she gets into the workshop by herself, right? Now I want to ask you, Simi, what is the place of personal development, self-development? How does it affect, or how has it affected your own career over the years? How has it affected your own outlook to life over the years, doing other things apart from I just want to get a job, I'm very valuable? How has that affected your own career?
Thank you for that question. So, I guess first, it depends. Some people right out of university already know they want to be entrepreneur, they want to work for themselves, or so on and so forth. Definitely, that wasn't me, because I wouldn't know where I would have started from. So I needed to be in a work structure to understand how work structures are. First, to work under someone and learn skills from them, then potentially expand for myself. So for me, with my starting off my career, I wasn't thinking of the business at all 'cause I didn't want distractions. When I start, because there was a reason that I'm employed. Do you understand? So I know I do, and I do understand. So we are in an economy where you do have to have maybe multiple streams of income. So I do know people who work in certain organizations and have a side business. Do you understand? So I'm not trying to downplay the fact that you work in the bank and for some reason you are into forever living, all those things. These are, you want to do that, you want extra streams of income. So because of the opportunity I had, I knew there were serious things. They were, a very competitive market. So if you want to take a risk and run a business alongside your current gig, maybe your situation is that you're not in maybe in an environment that is quite highly competitive. So your employer is not going to wake up tomorrow and let you go. So you are comfortable. I wasn't comfortable. Like basically it is important to draw the line. If an organization employs you, have to do the job. You have to do it and execute it well. So the reason why I'm able to expand or think of businesses myself is because I've put things in place in terms of my nine to five job, and nothing distracts me from that. So there's a bit of flexibility as well. So it depends on your circumstance. Some people, I work remotely most of the time. I do have to do a lot of physical things. Like Mr. Adeosun said, he talked about long suffering, and I really identify with that. Do you understand? So long suffering also comes with your bosses also knowing your strengths, what you can do. So really, really, really shining through. So in situations where for instance, I am distracted at the shop, for instance, as an example, um, I don't allow it to affect my day job. So sometimes I have to work longer hours, spend longer time. Do you understand? So you have to build that stability. One cannot win over one. If again, another one is if one, because it's my day job that fuels my business. Do you understand? And the one that takes precedence is the one that gives you the higher income. Don't get it twisted. Do you understand? So it's not about, oh, it's my hobby, right? Cars are my hobby, but it's not the one bringing the vast amount of my income. Do you understand? I have to focus on the one that brings the income, even though my passion is in cars. And it took me many years. I think I was already about 6 years into my career before I said to myself, well, I want something of my own. Of course, that's impressive to employers when they hear sometimes. Again, gauge it. Not all employers want to hear that you run a business because they want to understand how you manage it, unless you've run that business for substantial amounts of time. Of course, as a newbie, if you were to start, I do know people who have entered interviews. I know one particular cousin of mine who actually it was the fact that she had a cleaning business that made the employers excited because they needed a front desk person who could just own a space and the feedback she was getting was as soon as she joined the organization, there was a breath of fresh air. Do you understand? So she ran a cleaning business, an interior decorating business. So she brought a breath of fresh air to that front office, to the entire, company, which was an open space plan. That worked for her. Some organizations want to understand. So if I'm telling an interviewer that, I run an auto business, I'm also telling them at the same time is I've grown a team. I've grown a team. I'm away from my business at the moment. I'm away for a long time, usually because my job requires substantial travel. And the same man who trained me to spray cars is now the manager at the shop because I offered him a better deal than the deal he was getting as being a side road mechanic. Because I needed his skills, I needed his years of experience to lead. He may not be vast in terms of education, most of them are not academically inclined, but I needed someone who was hands-on. I needed someone who could listen. Do you understand? Being a woman running an auto business, dealing with men on a daily basis, do you understand? You don't want them to see you as this little girl in quote and unquote. So you need someone, people who are teachable, and he was teachable. So I needed to offer him something very competitive for him to stay with me, to work with me, and it has worked. And that's the same with most of the senior managers at the shop. Whilst I run my passion, I also run, my day-to-day job. It could be excruciating sometimes, like when Mr. Adeosun said long suffering. I remember so many times, and I'm not saying, please, if you are dying, if you know you are dying in your heart, yeah, if you are dying, please don't die on the job. I beg you in the name of God Almighty. I'm not saying, please, if you need to go to a hospital, you don't go to a hospital. It's not a risk that you should be taking. But I do have moments in my career There's one time in my career that I was beat by a dog, my own dog, because I was trying to save a little boy from being bit by the dog, and I still had to show up in pause feet to meetings because I was visiting Nigeria for work, and I was bit by a dog, but I already had a whole schedule of things I needed to do. And remember having bandages, having to go into the meetings with my bandages because nobody sent me to save a little boy. I saved the boy. Um, but thankfully, I had the strength. It was harder. That's one example. Okay, perseverance. You have to push through it. Of course, people you are going to meet will be more, understanding if you can't stay too long, and so on and so forth. The the other time was when 2 weeks into this job, um, there was a time I had back to back 2 weeks in Lagos, constantly in meetings, at least 4 or 5 meetings a day. And I remember, the last day before the last, I had come up with symptoms of what eventually was malaria and typhoid. And I was battling through it because I had pushed my body beyond. Um, and I was just telling myself, okay, one last day, one last day. Again, I wasn't doing it deliberately to score points. I just, at the same time praying that, dear Lord, give me strength. I need to push through this. So I'm not, lazy in that sort of way. I needed to push. I needed to just complete my schedule. And I remember texting on the Friday night, which was the last day for that particular trip, one of my line managers, who he's known in the industry as a Margaret Thatcher. She's known as a Margaret Thatcher. People ask me how I relate with her. Genuinely, I'm not sure. Because she's, and we have a relationship where we even have lunch, we gist, we have that sort of relationship. So she's not in the Margaret Thatcher. And I remember telling her I'd been done. And I remember telling her that I was feeling so poorly, and they needed me to sign something that same night with regards to my contract. I was like, is this woman not getting that I'm dying? I don't understand what it is. But I managed. I did what I needed to do. I remember waking up the next morning, which was a Saturday, and I walked into my mom's room and I said, "Yeah, you need to take me to the hospital." Like I just told her straight, I need to go to the hospital because I was really really sick. Guess what? This what my line manager did when another colleague in another country had something similar, but he wasn't the one that was sick, it was a family member. And she said to her, Simi, use me as an example, like trying to tell him because he had done it more than once in terms of using that sickness as an excuse of another person as an excuse. And he said, well, I remember when Simi was dying. I was like, right. So she acknowledged that she knew. So because I didn't feel like she knew, but because apparently she had had so many experiences with BDs, business development managers, lying because we work remotely. So she had had so many experiences with BDMs using excuses. So she was not she was not like empathetic. Let me put it like that, or let's say emotic. Was it emotic? She was empathetic, but she didn't want to hear it because she's had so many excuses. So those are examples of she had seen that the work that I had done had manifested. So I wasn't even about to lie. The work was working out, and I had built that confidence. So today, if I text her that I'm actually unwell, I can't do something, she believes it because it's the truth. It's not me lying, me finding excuses. So you have to limit the level of excuses because to whom much is given, what much is expected. And you have to build that level of rapport, that level of self confidence, to the point where it's your boss is telling you that, oh, go and relax. Go and relax. The fact that sometimes I'm up late because I've worked during the day for my business, right? I'm dealing with a client at the shop. So I'm awake like maybe midnight up to 2 a.m. and a boss is responding to me at that time. I have emails where one email that my boss literally told me to go to bed. Go to bed. Thank you so much. Do you understand? So you have to put in that to the moment that when you're growing, you can actually sit down and say, okay, nowadays I try and close timely because of a particular situation. When I close timely, no one is questioning me. If I'm logging on slightly later than usual, no one is saying, where are you? Because you've built that, they trust your process. You've built that level of rapport and professionalism. So it's wherever you tell them you are, that's where you are. Because they know that, oh, she will get the job done. It takes time and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of patience as well.
about that. Sorry about that. I was muted. So thank you. Thanks a lot once again, Simi, for sharing that. Because of our time, we're going to be wrapping up the talk show session. And I must say to those that are in the audience, we're going to be leaving here just at the top of the hour. But I want you to stay put to the end. Our speakers will still be around if they can still hang around, so that if you have any questions, you can put in the comment section and they would answer. But if they are unable to stay till the end, right, we'll take your question. The ones we can answer, we'll answer. The ones we can send to them, if they can answer via text or a voice note, we will put it on the group. So please keep the questions rolling, even though we are wrapping up the talk show right now. So I'm going to take us back to school, right? I'm going to give us a bit of an academic question, right? And the reason I'm doing this is because I just want, there's a way you answer things when you just answer off the top of your head. You kind of just say the truth, right? So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Oluyemi, first. What top three qualities would you see in a person that will make you feel like this person is, is the kind of person I would like to work with? What three qualities in a candidate would you see that would make you want a candidate very much?
Okay, the first quality I'm looking for is somebody that is already in motion.
Hi.
You are already in
Love
motion.
it.
I can see the initiatives and actions and activities you are doing to get what you want. That's the first one. The second thing I'm looking for, okay, is somebody with the right attitude. We all have attitude. Some are positive, some are negative. So I won't say attitude because it can be neutral or not. Some positive attitude, a can do attitude, never say die attitude. Somebody that sees the barrier but is looking for, should we go under it? Should we go around it? Should we climb it? So you come to me or to management with the problem, but 4 or 5 solutions, alternatives, or options. I also want somebody that is focused on the big picture. The big picture. In other words, once you have that big picture, in other words, purpose in mind, okay, you will always find a way, because where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way, and there will always be a will if you know the purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I love it. And I definitely am coming back to listen again to this. For those in the audience, if you've not picked up anything, these top three things, hold them, like your Yorubas will say, in your left hand. Hold them in your left hand. Don't let it go. Three things that you should be. One is in motion. Never be caught not doing anything. Never be caught. If you have to go and intern for free, go and intern for free, be doing something, be caught doing something. I'm not going to reiterate everything, but it's right there in the comment section and you can come back to watch this video. Now, Simi, the same question for you, but from another dimension. If there are three things that you would say have worked out for you in your career, three qualities that have worked out for you in your career that you think that anybody should emulate, what would those three things be?
I'll say first passion. Passion is important. Like I said, because sometimes you feel tired. If you're not passionate about what you do, how would you be able to take a lower income to get, the next outcome you want? Do you understand? If you're not passionate about what you do, you can't do that. You only be focusing on the finances, and a lot of organizations don't even want to know that you are focusing on the money, even if it's important. So first of all, is passion. Second of all, I'd say having a positive mindset is very important, because sometimes in every career, I think every career has market bottlenecks that you have to face. So apart from things can't just go smoothly. And having a positive mindset leads me to the other skill. the other point, which is having the skills, the right set of skills, are extremely important. And some of the skills would be gotten with my experience, would be gotten from the likes of internships. Do you understand? And as you can hear from my own story, even if I wasn't, you know, out to get internship jobs necessarily, but positions I had applied for had been rejected, and you might be in a position where you are actually in that position where you've applied for so many roles that you think you're eligible for, and you have to have a very open mindset of the possibilities. Do you understand? But first and foremost, like I said, have to be passionate, have a positive mindset, and build on those skills. Build on those skills that would lead eventually to you growing, where there are no questions asked. Even by the time they see your CV, employers are already excited to want to get to meet you because of the skills you built over time.
All right. Thank you so much, Simi. Thank you so much, Mr. Oluyemi. It's been an amazing time speaking with you, learning from your wealth of experience. We want to say a very big thank you for joining us today. Our speakers are still here briefly, and we're going to be wrapping up this session by just at the top of the hour by 7 p.m., right? We have just about 20 minutes to go. I want to tell you, we cooked a meal for you. Don't go yet. We cooked an entire meal for you. Don't go yet. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you, in summary, things that we teach at the 360 guide that are important things for you to become a high salary magnet. And from there, we keep taking questions and then we give you an offer. We're going to make you an offer. We always do this for every boot camp. We drop the prices for our career boot camps for most people, for more people to be able to get in. So I'm going to give you an offer, but before the offer, we are going to serve you a meal that you will never remain the same in your life. All right. So very briefly, I'll take my speakers off the stream, but they are still in the studio. So please feel free, or what, let me leave them in the studio so they are still here. I'll just present my slides here. If you want to switch off your videos or something, you can do that. But I'm just saying this so that people know that you are still here and they can ask questions. Ask all your questions right now. You can't see Mr. Oluyemi on Monday. He's going to be so busy. If you send him a message, you might not be able to respond, but you have him here right now. You don't even know where Simi lives, right? At least you can find Mr. Oluyemi on YouTube. You can find him on LinkedIn, but you don't even know where Simi lives. But you can ask all your questions right now in the chat box. All right, so let's move very quickly. Now, here are some unforgettable points that you must keep in mind if you're looking to attract high salary jobs. You want to attract the best kind of jobs. The first thing you need to know is that you must build a personal brand. You can't be all over the place. They're learning, today it's Java, so you learned Java. Tomorrow it is digital marketing strategy, so you go and learn that one. Then the day after tomorrow, now it is long reach. No, you need to understand who you are, your core values. Who am I as a person, right? That's the first thing. You understand your own core values. Secondly is that you then craft a mission for yourself. You craft a mission for yourself. My apologies about that. Just a second. I want to put that on silent. Okay. And for some reason, it's not going. All right. Great job. So the second thing that you need to know is that the second thing you need to know, or you need to be aware of, is that you chart a mission for yourself. Now, your mission can be in different dimensions, right? So, for example, your vision talks basically about your core values. Are you calm? Are you confident? Are you diligent? What kind of person are you, right? And based on your core values, based on your vision, the way you see yourself and the way you are seen by people, you then chart out possible missions that align with who you are. Don't be all over the place. Don't do tech because everybody is doing tech. There are people that are cleaning and they are earning more than people in tech because they found something based on who they are. So look inwards, who are you, and then craft out possible missions from your vision. And finally is that you are passionate. And Mr. Oluyemi has already defined passion. He has defined it in the best possible way. Passion is long suffering. It is staying there even when it is difficult. The next thing is that you prepare your arsenal, right? Now you know who you are, you have a mission, you do your things passionately, you stay there even when it is tough, right? You prepare your arsenal. What is your arsenal? First is your CV. You cannot have a CV that is not looking international. You cannot have a CV that is just okay. Remember what I said. Remember what Simi said about searching for jobs, right? So many people are applying. So many people are applying for the best kind of jobs, right? And a lot of recruiters are overwhelmed looking at your CVs. So your CV must stand out. You must have a CV that stands out from the rest, right? So that you would even have a chance. The second thing you want to work on is the job search portals. So talking about job search portals, you're talking about LinkedIn, if you use Jobberman, all of them require you, if you use Indeed, there are so many of them, right? You don't just go on these platforms and your profile is not up to date. Your profile is not up to date. You need to find out the success point for each job search portal that you're using. If it is on LinkedIn that you're looking for your jobs, you need to make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date. It is attractive to LinkedIn recruiters. So there are recruiters in different phases. There are recruiters that look for people through word of mouth. There are recruiters that their job is to look for people on LinkedIn. There are recruiters that look for people, based on different. Some people look for people from Jobberman, from different things. So you need to align your job search portal to ensure that it is attractive to the kind of recruiters that are looking on such platforms. The third thing is that you need to sharpen your job interview skills. Some people do land the jobs. Their problem is you're getting into the interviews and then you get rejected. You need to learn job interview skills. You might be very good, you might be excellent, but if you don't know how to sell yourself, then that will be a problem. No matter how good you are, well, nobody will be able to help you. The other side of the coin is that you need to also be very sincere with yourself. There are times that there are things you need to work on. You go for an interview, you've gone for 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews, and then you're called for the interview, right? But you're not getting through to landing the job. You need to go and assess yourself and find out, what is it about me? Sometimes you need to write back to the recruiter and say that, what was that thing I could have done differently to get this job? And you'll be surprised at what you'll get. Many people stop their interviews at, oh, we're sorry we couldn't hire you, sorry, and then you leave it there. Don't leave it there. Write back to the recruiter and ask that, what is that thing I could have done better? And most times recruiters are willing to help people like that. The next thing is your networking skills, right? The more people you know, the more likely you are to get a job. Most jobs are advertised by people. If it is only 20 people you know, you are only privy to the kind of jobs that those 20 people are advertising. If it is only 30 people you know, you're only privy to the jobs that 30 people are advertising. If it is 100 people you know, then you are in the 100 level dimension. If it is 1,000 people, so you need to position yourself. You need to learn to begin to network. You need to learn to maximize the relationships in your life. Starting from your family. Yes, you heard that right. People go on social media and then they write all sorts of things. Oh, the people I know, they will not help me. Are you the kind of person that people can trust to help? Many people are not afraid of helping. It's not as if they don't want to help. They don't want to help because you have not proven yourself to be trusted. They value their name, so they cannot vouch for you. Oh, I studied medicine, or no, let me use something different. Oh, I'm a tech guy, or I can do Canva design. I'm good with Canva design, right? And then you're there putting it on your DP, you can do Canva design. Have you shown people that you can trust me? Or you expect them to refer you for jobs because you're family? You want to disgrace their names, right? What have you done? With what intensity have you pursued the things that you've pursued, right? So how are you maximizing the relationships in your life to be able to get the kind of opportunities that you want? And finally, the place of persistence. Persistence is different from patience. Many people are so patiently waiting. Oh, I'm just waiting, I will get it. I'm just waiting, somehow it will come through, right? I'm just waiting. However, persistence is waiting and still doing the same things, whether I get it or not. Persistence is what you're waiting, and whether I've gotten my results or not, I'm still doing it the way I will do it when I get the results. Persistence is different from patience. Don't be patient. Persevere. Be persistent. Persevere and be persistent in your wait. If Mr. Oluyemi also mentioned something the other time, don't, because you did Java, right? You now say, oh, I did Java. Nobody, I even did this Java. Nobody, how do you put it now? I did Java. Nobody helped me. Nobody, oh sorry, I did Java to get this kind of job and I didn't get the kind of job I wanted, so I'm going back to bed. I cannot even waste my money again. No, that is not the way it works. That is not the way it works. You do one thing, it doesn't work out, you do the next, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep up the same level of expectation, the same level of hope, the same level of faith. And how do you help yourself to achieve that? By staying in a community of people. Get yourself in a community of people that are upward mobile, right? Because it will give you the strength you need when things are tough. All right, so these are some of the things I wanted to share with you. We have a couple of questions in the comments, so I'm going to take down my slides and then we'll answer the two questions in the comment section. All right, so I saw one here. Let me just ask this one. So I'm showing it on the screen session. I'm going to throw this question to Simi. So Simi, this question is for you. Omowumi is asking, how can I position myself to be visible to high income jobs? How can I, improve my visibility to high income jobs? Simi, if you're there, can you unmute and speak?
Okay, so what Omowumi, it depends on where you are now in your career. So everyone starts from somewhere. Because I don't know your background in terms of if you're already earning, if you're already in an industry, at the moment, it's perfect. Do you understand? So what I would like to say is you have to be dedicated to what you're doing currently. Potentially would come. So as the experience gather, right? I'm not aware of anyone who owns their experience and remains stable and consistent in what they do, and the growth would come eventually. Do you understand? So, um, I would say if you haven't, entered a sector yet in terms of, a job sector that you're comfortable with and this is where you want to go, I'll say first find your niche first. The money, is important, but shouldn't be the priority when you're trying to gather the experience. It's very, very important. And like I said, money is important. Everybody wants to earn, but you have to give it time. Um, when you begin to gather the experience, when you begin to gather the progress, and it's quite visible by the time you start putting stuff on your CV, in terms of organizations, in terms of skills, in terms of projects, it begins to show. So even if someone calls you for an interview, many, many years down the line, in your career, they would already see in your CV the strength that you partake, and that gives you a more sort of a stronger negotiating power. In terms of being visible, I would say you have visibility for me, whether consciously or unconsciously, started with when I started my own career. So I didn't even know the little things I was doing. People were, picking up on them, and the extras, I mean, for a line manager that I left for 2 years, right, to refer me to another job. Was because I had, again, been dedicated to the work I had been doing. That's the first sort of visibility. Because the job he then, even though there was not a huge difference maybe in salary at the time from where I was working with them, at least it was the next boost. Do you understand? Most of the sort of the high income jobs might not necessarily come from your immediate application. It would come from staying in that company and growing in that company. Do you understand? So you might start off with an okay salary, but because you are in that company and you've shown dedication and strength, right? Like it's not as if oh the income or the increase in my incomes have just come with I've applied for this job, so therefore, it's we might be in that same company. It might be back to what I said, remaining competitive within a company, even if another company wants to poach you, but because and maybe they're offering slightly better. It would amaze you that your current company wouldn't let you go because of the value and investment they've already done in you, and they want to match and exceed the other company's asking price. So those are the ways you have to stay dedicated. Currently, what you do and keep growing. If that's not where you want to be, then you need to switch and maintain that momentum. You have to maintain that momentum, and your income might grow without you even having to leave your current position.
All right, thank you so much, Simi, for answering that. Just to add to that, or maybe to summarize it in a bit, when you talk about high income positions, how to position yourself for high income positions, you need to realize that gold is not found on the streets, right? Most high income positions, they happen back end, they happen through referrals. It means that you must have developed credibility. You need to have developed credibility in a field, and I think that's what Simi was trying to say. All right, we'll take the next question. I hope that answers your question. Um, Omowumi. We're going to take the next question from Tosin Famakinwa, and this is an HR question, so I'm going to direct it to Mr. Oluyemi. She says, "How do you convince an interview panel to consider you for a senior management position in a field you are new to, even though you have management level experience in another field?"
Thank you so much for asking me that very simple but very difficult question. I will respond to you. Now, there's something I like people to know, okay? And it is interconnectedness, interrelatedness. You see, everything is literally connected to everything. I'll give you an example, just one example. So, someone I know who studied botany in the university went for a customer service interview job in a bank. And they said, "Oh, you read botany. How do you think you will fit in a bank?" And she said, "Do you appreciate what it takes to be able to identify every plant by name and their different species? That is the same attention I will focus on every customer of your bank." In other words, she was able to interconnect and interrelate plants with people. Now, more direct to your question, do you have some experience? When I say some experience, so I can see that you are looking at a senior management level. Do you have any kind of experience in that same industry? Then that's a leverage. Do you have experience with the same kind of market segment? That's a leverage. Do you have experience with their product or service? That's a leverage. Your first assignment is to identify the leverage that you have, and then it will blur the line between what you don't have. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you have. At senior level, management level, what are we looking at? How to make more money, revenue. How to be more profitable. How do we manage costs? How do we increase our market share? Okay, how do we improve on our quality, our turnaround time? If you bring all this to the table, people will know that you have what it takes. And I can reiterate right now, you've got what it takes. Bye for now. See you later. Thanks, everyone.
You're mute, Bolu.
Thank you so much, Simi, and thank you so much, Mr. Diosho, for that, for the question or for the answer to that question. I think that was excellently answered. All right, so we are going to the final question for today, which is coming from Bishi Wuraola. She says, "I've been working with a startup firm. I came in as a customer service rep, front desk, or social media manager. Now I have also been doubling as the procurement officer and graphic designer." So she's asking, sometimes it is exciting doing these roles. Sometimes I feel I'm doing so much. When is the right time to ask for a salary raise? And is it okay to do that? So I'm just going to give, we're going, since this is the final question, I'm going to give both of our speakers the opportunity to answer very briefly. Very briefly, I'll start from Simi. Simi, please just answer, and then we have a final roundup by Mr. Oluyemi. All right, Simi, over to you.
So, for my friends, the best time to ask for a salary raise is if your company is doing really, really well. So you're very, again, not because you might start off and start doing well immediately. Um, that doesn't mean you should just ask for a salary raise. Some most of the time, if they're doing well and when you came in and you offered potential growth, for me, I was offered a salary raise within 1 year of joining my company. But the salary raise wasn't up to my expectation, so I actually declined. Not that I declined deliberately, I just said I wanted more, and all of a sudden there were crickets. No one answered that email until 3 years later, believe it or not, when another company wanted to take me off them. Do you understand? And I realized that I could then negotiate and gather all the loss. So all because I had lost substantial amount of money within 2 years, right, for not taking that raise. Um, but I had put myself in a position where I'd become indispensable, and I could negotiate way more, even more than the one they were doing. If so, there was no questions asked. So it's about the environment. You need to know that you've offered substantial growth to ask for the raise, even if they don't give you at the time, even if they don't think it's of value, who knows? Another company could, and if you use it to the best of your ability for negotiating, who knows? But you need to have brought that value, and it should be visible, very, very visible, and you have become indispensable. Because who knows? If you ask for a salary raise, and and please don't try and use another job to put your employers into a corner because they might tell you, or another job that doesn't exist, because people do that. They come and say, "Oh, by the way, this company wants me." The company can go back and say, "Okay, we can't match it. Bye bye." Then you're done for. People do that. So please make sure that it's realistic and it's real. And within your sector, there are case studies because I was able to bring forward some certain case studies of people who maybe didn't have my level of experience and what they were earning within our ecosystem. So that also helps as well. Yeah, I'm muted.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me add my 2 cents. I'll just expand a little on what my colleague has brilliantly put together. Now, when she says visible, that your work is visible, what she's also trying to say is that you can quantify it. In other words, in terms of how much revenue income you are bringing to the table, or how much savings or cost you are bringing to the table, or better still, the combination of how much money you are bringing in and how much money you are saving. The other thing I also like to add is that put the system into consideration. When I say system, I mean the organization. So, can they afford it? Is it sustainable? It means you have done some check. Okay, so if you are in an SME and you know that today the owner or proprietor is borrowing to pay your current salary, even though you sincerely deserve a higher pay, you may need to watch out on the timing. All right. So make sure that the organization sincerely has the ability to pay and that it is sustainable. The last thing, make sure you have also sharpened your negotiation skills. To become a high salary magnet, your negotiation capability matters. Do your due diligence, do your research, make sure you negotiate. See you very soon. I need to go now. Bye.
But I don't know that it's just me, but I can't hear you. I don't know that it's just me. Maybe it's
I'm
just
actually
me.
muted. I was actually
Okay.
muted. All right. So I just wanted to say, I was saying to everybody, please, can you join me in celebrating our awesome speakers? I've been in so many career seminars, And this has been one of the realest, like, they were just so real with us. Practical tips, practical things right there. Please celebrate them. Simi, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. We are really grateful. We want to say a very big thank you to you and a very big thank you to Mr. Oluyemi. Thank you so, so much. All right. So that said, I want to quickly bring up somebody, right? I told you earlier about one of the sorry, I told you earlier about one of the about the boot camps that we offer at 360 Guide Limited, right? And I want to bring up somebody that attended the last boot camp. The last no, not the last one. The one we did, the final boot camp for the year 2020. So her name is Biola, right? And she's going to be speaking with us. After she did her boot camp, she was able to get 3 international offers within 3 months. I want her to just very briefly, and I'm saying this, I'm bringing her up right now. I want her to share her story very briefly. What did you do differently? And you might have heard from Simi, and you say, Simi studied in the UK, right? You might say Simi studied in the UK. You might have heard from Mr. Adeosun, and you say that Mr. Adeosun, is already a top person in his field, right? I know that when she came for our boot camp, when Biola came for our boot camp, it was she was not in the she was like many people right here that did not even know where to start from. So I want her to just share a story and bringing her up right now. So can you just share with us, what did you do? What did you learn on the boot camp? What did you do differently that helped you to land these international offers within 3 months? All right, can you share with the audience tonight?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you so much, Bolu. Yes, I was at the like maybe the first bootcamp section she held, and it was quite eventful. Well, I started off. I was jobless actually at that time, and I had a business I was running. At a point, I zeroed my mind about getting a job before I met her, and during the bootcamp section, she made it, though it was kind of will I call it tasking, because you needed to give all you have into it, and it was actually did worth it. Okay, so when I heard about the offer, I had very little on me, but I was like, let me give it a try. What if I got my money missing? Will I be able to retrieve it back? So I got it. I paid for the boot camp and I entered. And there was this where the personal branding. I think that was the first course that got at me. At that point, I just needed to understand myself more, because there are so many things hidden within us that we do not actually know. And that boot camp actually did brought a confidence of myself to me. Then I was impressed with myself, and so I had I followed up through, and I kind of rigorously followed and did every task. So it wasn't easy, but I was sure it was sure worth it. And long after it, I got a first international offer I got was an internship job with an educational consulting firm. And there, even during the whole interview process, the fear of, will they, will they not? Is it worth it? Isn't it? But I was glad I did. That opened me up and gave me much more confidence, even at an interview table. Okay, first, fine, I wasn't seeing it was online, it was a virtual interview, but there was a confidence I had, because I was like, okay, fine, it's been a while I've worked. Then, but the confidence was, I've just finished a boot camp. I've just been rebranded. So I need to bring out this me that is in me. And I was glad I did. Before, and then I spent a month on that, before I now got that which I'm really doing now, which is a customer service job with another one. And this is quite worth it. Though fine, I'm still on the lookout. Just like Simi said, one should not sit on one horse. You just need to keep forging ahead and all that. And even tonight's section, I just want to use it to encourage us that there is something you need to give to get what you want. The speakers have spoken. I'm just to encourage you, just to give you my experience on how and what I did differently. But yeah, and then for as many that would subscribe to the next boot camp, I'm sure you're going to enjoy every second and every minute of it. Don't say the tax is overwhelming. Just find time. Find time and try and do it to the very later. Even my close friends around me actually know that there is a difference about me. The way I carry myself now. Fine, I didn't even believe I could get the same job I'm doing right now. Okay, but just somehow I had given up. The business I was even doing was crumbling at that time. But I'm thankful I met Bolu. And just try and I don't know how else to say it, but just a word of encouragement. Put in your best, and the best you will get. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I am really grateful. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for sharing that. And I really wanted you to come up for two reasons. First, for the sake of those on the current boot camp, she wasn't the only one on that boot camp. There were many people on that particular boot camp, right? But there is also the place of going all out. I can tell you that out of all the students, she was the most diligent. You give her a task, she will go and do it. She will go and do it. When we did LinkedIn optimization, for example, she was one person that did not stop reaching out to people. And she will reach out and she'll come and meet me and say, "Hi, okay, I reached out to this person. I'm not sure how to answer, right?" And for those that have taken boot camps in the past, you have the knowledge. Don't sleep on the knowledge that you got. Don't sleep on the knowledge that you got. Make use of it. Make use of it. Do something with it. Very important, right? And tonight, I'm going to be giving the opportunity for more people to come on the boot camp, right? The boot camps normally are very expensive. Let me show you. They are very expensive. Let me take us down the the studio. All right. So this is what the boot camp looks like, right? So we have two boot camps actually. One is for starters, like you're just starting, you're not even sure what you want. You don't even really understand this old job thing, right? You want to get started. So we call that the Jumpstart Your Career Boot Camp. So that's the Jumpstart boot Camp, right? The Jumpstart Boot Camp includes, it's a 2 week program. And within that 2 weeks, you're going to have 5 virtual sessions, 5 classes where I'll be training you like this. 5 classes, that's one. You're going to learn how to craft a winning CV. You're going to demystify LinkedIn. That LinkedIn everybody's afraid of. We're going to teach you how to navigate the platform. We're going to learn you power job search tips, how to search for jobs, and then how to answer, common interview questions. So all of these are the things you're going to be learning in the 5 virtual classes that we're going to hold in the Jumpstart Bootcamp. Secondly, you're going to have 2 weeks of coaching. So it's not just like you're having the live sessions. There's also daily coaching. Every day we are waking you up to who you really are and who you can be when it comes to your career. And finally, we have a networking community. You get to meet other people that you're searching for jobs together, and you leverage on that power to be able to build. Now, the total for this bootcamp is 350,000 naira for each participant, but just wait, because we have destroyed the price. We have destroyed the price for you to be able to afford it. Now we have the other boot camp, which is the Step Up Like a Pro. Now maybe you already have a job, or you're already kind of getting there, right? You want to upskill. You are tired of the officer role. You want to move into a managerial position, or you just want to hit your career running. Maybe you just finished NYC and you don't want to settle for less for a long time. So we have this other one, and that one is called the Step Up Like a Pro. That one, you're going to have also everything you have on the Jumpstart Bootcamp. You're going to have it, but Step Up Like a Pro is a 1 month bootcamp. Apart from that, you have a clarity session. That means I meet with you one-on-one, and together we are going to chart a career course. I'll help you find what is your vision, what is your mission. We chart out the best possible career course for you. And then after that, We also, you take our personal branding online course. You take the personal branding online course at your own pace. That's self-paced. You take that, then you have a professional CV upgrade. That means we will be the ones writing the CV for you. For the first one, you learn how to write your CV. You upgrade it by yourself. For the second one, we do it for you. Then we also have Go LinkedIn Pro. So we have a LinkedIn challenge that we run on a monthly basis. You join the monthly challenge and you grow your LinkedIn followership by at least 1,000. So you are going to hit that 1,000 mark. You hit the 1,000 mark, and then we teach you how to connect with top CEOs, top recruiters on LinkedIn. Then we give you a personalized job search support. That means that when you're looking for this job, we are looking for it together. We're showing you where to look, how to look for it. We also have a mock interview session. So before you go in for your interview, we call a panel, an HR person, somebody like Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun will sit down on the panel, will interview you, will help you refine your answers before you go into that session. Then you also get free worksheets that you can use to be able to practice the things that you are doing on the bootcamp. Now, the total cost for that one is 600,000 naira. Like I said, we already crashed the prices for you, but only for today, because it is for those who are on this training, right? It is only for people on this training. So if you're interested and you want to sign up tonight, we are practically giving it to you free of charge. But from our experience, when we give out these things free of charge, people don't take it seriously. So we want to ensure that you pay something that you feel in your body, so that even if you don't want to do it, you remember the money you paid. And because of the money you paid, you stay. So for that, for you to be able to be a part of that, yes, we crashed the price for Jumpstart Bootcamp to 7,500 naira. And then we crashed the price for Step Up Like a Pro to 50,000 naira only, right? Remember the things that you get from the bootcamp. First is 5 virtual sessions. You get 2 weeks of group coaching. What Auntie Biola did, I call her Auntie Biola actually. What Auntie Biola did was actually the jump start. It was from the jump start she was able to get the kind of jobs that she got. That was the jump start boot camp, right? And I don't know, was it 7,500 when you paid? Was it 7,500 or 5,000? At some point it was 5,000, then we increased the price to 7,500. So the price keeps going up, but right now it is 7,500. If you choose to pay between today and tomorrow, the deadline for this is 11:59 p.m. tomorrow. That is on Sunday. If you make the payments between now and Sunday, you can pay 7,500 and get on the Jumpstart Bootcamp. For the other one, Step Up Like a Pro, we are crashing the price to 50,000 naira. If you pay between now and Sunday, you pay 50,000 naira, and then you can get on that bootcamp. You can get it cheaper at any point in time, or if you take any of the individual sessions, you can get it cheaper anyways. But we need your own commitment, and that is why we are asking you to make payments for this. So if you're interested in that, please ensure that you sign up for it. Now, also, we have a wide range of services that we offer, right? We have many free services that we want you to take advantage of. Chi, if you are in the chat box, can you help me type? Okay, I think I can do the typing from here, right? So we have some freebies that you can take advantage of. If you've not signed up for our free review service, that is, we look at your current CV, we tell you the things that are okay with it and the things that are wrong, so that you can go and make a change on your CV. So you can sign up for our free CV review service, right? So that's one. Also, we have the Accelerate Bootcamp, right? We have the Accelerate course, sorry. So the Accelerate course, everybody should take the Accelerate course. And that is why we've made it free of charge. For those of us that are in the community, you know, the iSalary Magnets community, we will share the link for the Accelerate Your Career course, right? 5 proven strategies to increase your income astronomically. It is free. It is absolutely free. Please get the course. It's just about 30 minutes. You complete it. Get the course, complete it, and then share with everybody in your world. We have put it together for you to be able to increase your income. Absolutely free. Please get that and then get on board. And then finally, we have our personal branding course. It is currently going for 50,000 naira. Of course, if if you do the step up like a pro boot camp, we are crashing the price for you. You're going to get the personal branding and so many other things. In fact, you're going to get everything that we have on offer, right? So all of these, they are also going up for you. Now, if you want to earn extra income from CV writing, extra income for CV writing, we have a course for CV writers. And what does that entail? Our CV writing course, we teach you the A to Z of CV writing. So you can learn how to write CVs for people. You earn from it, right? We teach you the business. So you might know how to write a CV, but do you know how to earn money from it? So we teach you the business of CV writing, and then we also sign you up as an affiliate with 360 Guide because we write CVs for people. So we sign you up as an affiliate. When we get jobs, we give you jobs. So we give you jobs to do. We split the fee. There's a percentage that we use in splitting the fee. So we split the fee with you, and then so those are some of the things that we have on offer. You can ask about any of these services on the group. Please make sure you go into the group and ask about any of these services. We'll also be posting the details at least till the end of the month. So we're going to dissolve the group by the end of the month. So please, all of this will be on offer. We'll keep putting them. But whatever you do, take the Accelerate course. Accelerate 5 proven strategies to increase your income astronomically. Make sure you take that. It is free for you, right? But for those that are interested in getting on the boot camp tonight, you want to get in the boot camp, the April boot camp. We've crashed the prices for you, and the time is ticking. Time is ticking between now and 11:59 p.m. Now and 11:59 p.m. Please ensure that you make payment. These are the payment details. It will also be shared on the group. Anybody we can't take more than 10 people. That's another thing. For each boot camp, we're looking at 10 people. So please, the first 10 to register will be the first 10 to get it. First 10 to register will be the first 10 to get in, to get the opportunity. So if you're interested, please ensure that you signify and then you make payments. This is the payment details. See, the best time to pay is right now. Once you leave this place, so many things will take up your time, you will forget. So I can assure you the best time to pay is now. If you don't pay now, what happens is that all the things we advertise, you pay for them in bits and pieces. And at the end of the day, you're going to pay way more. You pay way more than, the price that we've crashed for you. So at this point, we're going to be saying a very big thank you for joining us. We are super grateful. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. For those that are making payments, please start to signify on the group. I think Chinasa will be there. I will be there also attending to you. But I want to celebrate everybody that has joined us, everybody that started with us. I think Shalom was the first person to come in, and he's still right here with us. I celebrate you. I celebrate Omowumi. I see you, Mercy. Chinasa from 360 Guide. We say thank you for being, a constant source of support for us. We just want to say thank you. Once again, we say thank you to our speakers. Even though they are no longer here, we say thank you to them. We are really grateful. And at this point, we're going to be ending the meeting. Becoming a high salary super magnet. Did you learn something? If you learned something, let me see it in the chat box as we round up and leave. Let me see in the chat box. Can you just say thank you to the 360 Guide team? Let me say a very big thank you also to Chinasa and Taria for always supporting this event. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Tosin. She says, I got more than what I bargained for. Thank you, Tosin. We are so grateful that you got more than what you bargained for. All right. Let's see. Is there any other person still with us? Just say thank you. And if you didn't gain anything, just say, oh my God, this was an absolute waste of my time. If you didn't gain anything, just say, this was an absolute waste of my time. All right. Finding my path in life says thank you with a smile. And we're saying thank you for coming and staying through to the end. Thank you so much. All right. Any other person? Yeah, someone says, Shalom says, excellence all around. Thank you, 360 Guide team. Thank you, Chinasa. Thank you, Shalom. Thank you for your support earlier in the day. I appreciate you, Shalom. Thank you, Bishi Wuraola, for being an interactive member. You really, you were in the comment section. I saw your chat, saw your questions. Thank you for making this lively for us. All right, all right. So at this point, I'm going to be ending the broadcast. Don't forget, get on the boot camp. You take action. Take action. I wish I could, but we've done the boot camps for free. Let me say that to you also. We've done these boot camps for free in the past. What we noticed when we were giving it out free of charge is that people were not taking it seriously, and that's why the fee is there. The fee will put you don't nobody wants to waste their money. The Bible says where your treasure is, there your heart also will lie. That is why we charge you for the boot camp. The actual price of the boot camp is what you've seen, but we ask you to pay that. It's a commitment fee. It's a commitment fee because you don't want your money to waste. And if your money wastes, it's fine. Just come and pay for the higher one. We'll step you up. If, for example, you pay for the 7.5 boot camp and you were not serious, right? You just pay for, we'll tell you to step up to the 50,000 boot camp. And we know that because you don't want your 50,000 to waste, you will take it seriously. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely night rest. And those that are signing up, sign up tonight. Don't wait until the time has elapsed. We're taking only 10 people.